Hi, I'm Kate Fogger, this is Julie Hurt, and we are making light. So today's episode is about reverence and rituals. I hope you enjoy it. I just thought I would give a bit of information because I've had to cut a few bits around what we talked about, but it felt important to share in the context of the discussion that followed. Julie and I are part of a community that's the Be Open community, which is from Daniel McKinnon. And I think the links are we put the links in a show note. And we're part of a sacred cacao ceremony recently. So there are references to that. So that's just so you understand that was on a Zoom call. That was really good. I make references to falling asleep, just so you know that because it's based in the US, a lot of these things that actually happen quite late at night for me, so I do tend to fall asleep. And also we make reference to workarounds. So the work that both Julie and I do, which is soul level intuitive coaching, a workaround is a behavior that you put in place if you like to alleviate the effects of a negative belief. I'll give you a quick example. If you are abused as a child, perhaps, you may believe that you are unloved, or no, you might believe you are unsafe. There's a good one. And a workaround for that would be that you want to not be seen because you feel more safe if you're not being seen. Is that a good example, Julia? Do you have a better one?
No, I think that's a perfect example. It can also touch other negative beliefs. We don't need to go there, but yes, either way you were headed, but yes, absolutely.
Yes. So when Julie and I make references to our workarounds, these are things that we put in place at a very young age, and we probably do subconsciously now, or unconsciously, I should say, rather than subconsciously. And quite often in life, they actually hold you back. For example, if you have a workaround about wanting to not be seen, it then becomes an issue when you want to be seen. For example, you start to promote your business or something, but you can't because your workaround insists that you stay small because it's safer. So that's what workaround means. And this is work that Julie and I both do. So you can check our links below if you have any interest in coaching along those lines, but that's just to explain the language. Anyway, enough said, on with the show. I feel like I've had coffee. Maybe that's why I'm talking too much.
Oh,
I've been having cacao. Did you go on a cacao ceremony?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
fell asleep. I have absolutely no idea what happened. I was like, bang, out like a light.
Oh wow, yeah.
Well, because it was really late for me. I was very interested in it, but
So I struggled with that whole thing, the whole thing. I'm like, this is weird. I talk about judging, right? This is weird. Why is banging a drum? Now there's a rattle. There's all this stuff, and then the chanting. Like, I was just like, I was like not having it. And then I'm like, whoa, what the hell, Julie? So
it's just too weird for you.
Well, it started off just too weird. I was just like, no. And then I realized what was happening to me, like that I was doing all this like judging and resisting. And I went, all right, guys, tell me what the hell, like, why do we have to have all this ceremony? That was the first question. Why do we have to have all this ceremony? Just meditate, like, why do I have to have cacao? Like what? And they were like, well, first of all, ceremony brings community. And part of what's happened in this world is this community because of this disconnect, it's also disconnection from community. And cacao can become for many important ceremony. So this is really trying to build community, which is what is happening here in this particular meditation, which is the community to which you enjoy being a part of. Oh,
as you told.
Yeah, that's what they told me. I'm like, oh, duh. So then I'm like, well, why? Okay, so then why am I struggling with the connection to Mother Cacao? And then she came to me and she said, you're just not ready for this yet. You're working on some.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's okay. She was just.
I hate you because you have these experiences.
You
see, I think Julie, at least she's normal because she's going, oh, fuck all these drums and what the chant and what's all this nonsense, bloody weirdos. And then you go, and then Mother Cacao came to me.
Well, she told me I wasn't ready, which I didn't necessarily like, but I was like, okay, fine. She's like, you're studying other stuff. You don't need this yet.
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Dun dun dun. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
So well, that maybe that ties in with see, that's disappointing.
How's it disappointing?
Because as you were saying that, because I'm not saying I don't get anything out of the ritual, okay, but it's not, I don't think that I'm there yet, and I don't think it's a matter of that it's more advanced than what I need. I just don't, it's just not, it doesn't really resonate with me. It's where I don't think that, mind you, the journey is not linear, is it? But right now I don't get a great deal out of being with people on Zoom and having a lovely experience. It's sort of like I tend to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Mostly because, okay, partly it's the hours, but also I'm just not that. I think if I sit in a room with somebody playing drums, it might do something for me, but watching it on Zoom, I enjoy that it's a group of people that I love to be with. I love the fact that they do really weird stuff. I just love that. I love the fact that I have met these people that will do that on Zoom. I think it's great. And I'm a little bit envious of people who can dance their dance a little more boldly than me. Now, I don't have any great desire to bang drums and stuff, but to be honest, I would be embarrassed to. So it is it's a mirror up to me to say, you think you can be transparent about who you are, but you're still a bit shy. So I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel a need for it particularly. I'm fascinated by it, and I'm jealous of the weirdness of it, and that people like you say, and then Mother Cacao came to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I don't know if I'll ever, well, we'll see. Yeah. Right, so Reverence. So, and I think it was who had did a prayer. I think she mentioned that she does a prayer before she connects to the animal. And I think I had said how much she loved, I can't remember what word they used for it, but this sort of reverence. Now, I struggle with this, and I don't know if it's a workaround or whether this is my unique shining light. I don't buy into all this. I believe we should be respectful, but we're all equal. I don't need, it feels like I am sort of somehow below you if I show reverence to you. Maybe I'm misconstruing the word reverence. Like, I think it's important to be respectful, but I don't feel the need to crawl to anyone. And I don't like this idea that it's like with all these rituals in Reiki, and there's hierarchies in healing where you have to have this, you have to be a grade this, you have to be that, you have to get your symbols from someone else, you have masters, you have that. I understand that we can all learn from people, and I understand we have to be respectful. I don't like this idea of a sort of hierarchy. Do you understand? Do you understand at all what I mean? It's like when I talk to an animal, I don't feel like I need to sort of go, oh, you're wonderful, blessed art. I don't need to treat it like a god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm tracking with you. Yeah. You want me to comment? I'm ready.
What do you think, Julie?
I totally hear. So how does the word honor feel to you? If you were to substitute the word reverence for honor, how does that feel to you?
Yeah, okay.
Better? Yeah.
I mean, maybe I've got the wrong word for reverence. So I'm just checking my phone that my guests haven't got in touch. They haven't, so we're fine.
Okay.
Thanks. Yes, honor, but even honor. I think this is a workaround, isn't it? I don't like the idea of kowtowing.
I don't know if it's it could be a workaround. I'm not trying to discount your workarounds.
Don't you dare discount my workaround.
I just wonder, because something I've really become aware of this past year and all of this exploration we've all been doing, is words themselves. In any language, there is the word. How do I want to say this? Because it's really, there's the word in the language, but then there's also the word from which it came, from the very beginnings of humankind in earth speak, if you will, that could have had something completely different. But the word right now, as it exists, the meaning constantly changes, and not only does the meaning change, but everybody has a different interpretation of the word, which then trips us up later on. Like when I think of, okay, so I've not really studied the Bible, this stuff with A Course in Miracles. When you take the Bible sometimes and you put it back into a, I want to say like more simplistic language, you kind of peel back all the layers of interpretation for, centuries and centuries. You're like, oh, God's within me, not I have to do all this stuff and then God will accept me. It's this, so you can see how the interpretation to the external.
So does that actually say that anywhere in the diary? Because I did the Bible, because I did actually try to buy a Bible that was supposedly unadulterated, the one that the scholars use, and I just found it impenetrable, to be honest.
I don't. Who needs a Bible?
Well, because I am interested in exactly what you say.
Yeah. No, but that's
looking at what was actually meant at the time, rather than how we've, or other people have cobbled it together to suit their own purposes since then.
Yeah.
I was quite interested. I actually wanted just to read some of Jesus's words to sort of see if I could see what I would say is a spiritual interpretation of them, as opposed to the Christian interpretation of them.
No, I was doing a little illusion joke, like you shouldn't have to have a Bible to understand. It was a bad attempt at spiritual humor. Because
again? No, I'm sorry, I missed it.
That's okay. No, I understand why you were buying a Bible. I was like, who needs a Bible? Because it was like illusion. I shouldn't have to have anything. Everything is within. Yeah. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it exists. I don't even know. The Course in Miracles is resonating with me because I feel like, oh, look, there's what forgiveness means, or what not judgment. What's the other one that we're talking about a lot? What Father means, or Son means, or God means. It's like, it's all, people just kind of bastardized it, possibly.
See, that's interesting to me. Am I going to have to do the Course in Miracles?
Are you going to have to? I don't know. I don't know if you are.
Because that really interests me, and part of that probably is a workaround, in a sense that it holds more weight with me, because having been brought up in a Catholic school, I'm not Catholic, but I went to a Catholic school for all of my primary and most of my secondary. No, that's a lie. Yeah, no, most of my secondary school as well. It's so deeply rooted in me that whether I choose to call myself a Christian or not, the teachings are still very present, and being able to see those teachings in a different light holds a gravitas for me, I suppose, that I find comforting, if you like. So I find it very interesting to see, like turn the other cheek and things like that. That's law of attraction. I understand that now. That's saying don't look at it.
Yeah.
It's not saying, well, it is. It's saying ignore something that you find unpleasant.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I think we used to interpret that as, if somebody sins against you, ignore it, i.e. don't react to it. But yes, I suppose it is. It's just a slightly different nuance of why you would do that. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Because I was raised Catholic, and never quite. Every time we would have every time I go to mass, I'd be like, it doesn't make any sense. But when I put whatever that lesson lesson was in this newer context. It's like, oh, now that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I used to say, what I didn't understand forgiveness. It's like, what is the point of of asking forgiveness for something that you wouldn't do differently if the situation came again? To me, it was like, it just didn't make sense to me. It's like carte blanche for, it's like saying you can go and commit whatever fucking sins you like against people and go, oh, sorry, Whereas I would say, well, I think the example I used was when I got my nose pierced. My father did not get angry. Well, it's not that he didn't get angry. He didn't really get angry at me and my sister, got angry at other things. He was a safe pair of hands. But he was quite horrible about it. It's like, it shows you have no respect whatsoever for your family and all of this. And I didn't have the brain power at that time to go, he's talking shit and he's just trying to make me feel bad. But it's like, I can't ask forgiveness. I have upset my father. So I would be very careful with my words and say, I would have to sort of say, I'm sorry I've hurt my father, but I'm not sorry that I pierced my nose, because actually I don't see the connection between me piercing my nose and my father taking umbrage at it. It's like I was astute enough to work out the two, that I had no control over the connection that he had made between the action and his disappointment. And then it'd be like, well, I've sinned against my father, and it's like, I haven't sinned against my father. I just fucking pierced my nose. How is anyway? Sorry, I digress. But yes, I'm fascinated in how all this came about.
Yeah, and to me, the word. So it's possible, and this is a question I think more. The word reverence has potentially negative connotations or negative meaning to you. Like, I could see, for me, reverence could go all the way back to organized religion, which is organized by men, which is the ongoing, we're currently talking about in the broader global conversation of the patriarchy, right? So when you peel it back, the power, and this is even coming up in my Hildegard of Bingen class, she challenged the patriarchy way back in the 12th century, because she could see that the organized religion there was power involved, and power created corruption, and it was all these, and so they were no longer serving the people. And I just learned last night, side note, that back in that time, Meister Eckhart actually began to preach in German, but German wasn't really a language. It was the talk of the peasants. I just find that fascinating. And from there, it became a language, but the church looked down on German because it was, oh, that's just interesting. So there's a whole rabbit hole I could go down. But anyway, but yeah, that was just a little side note. Whatever. But from a reverence perspective, there could be, like, for me, the word reverence, I feel like it means putting someone up on a pedestal, bowing down, and all of that. And the more I learn about, we are all one, we are all connected, it's more of, for me, honoring or even holding space. I hold space for somebody else. I was saying to another friend of ours over the weekend, that everybody, there is not that okay, I'm just going to say this, the pie, there's like a pie. Everybody brings a piece of pie to the party. Everybody's piece of pie is delicious and good and different and neat and exotic and whatever. We just have to be able to see that their piece of pie is just as worthy as my piece of pie. And it's actually even exciting to trade the pieces of pie, but we hold space for the additional pieces of pie. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? So we get caught up in I don't disagree with you about the reverence thing. I don't want to necessarily get caught up in reverence and go, oh, I am not worthy, because that's also what it begins to create in me.
That's how it feels to me. I think that's bang on. That's it. It's like, I have spirituality has given me, whether or not I feel it entirely, but it has, it's teaching me that I am equal, I am worthy. I don't need to crawl on hands and knees to an animal or to my angels or to anybody. I can just go, hello, thank and be gratitude, and show gratitude. But I don't like this idea that I have to, this is all part of the ritual as well, like especially around, I know words are important, but surely my intent is the most important thing. When I'm talking to animals and when I do my Reiki at night, at the moment I have Maria, Rio, my sister's cat, my sister, the farm dog, Molly. Last night I had 3 chickens, and there's anywhere between 12 and 18 of the sheep that I'm healing at night, right? And I tend to drift down and out of consciousness. Like I literally just like I do the Reiki prayer, and then I go, right, okay, so Rio, can we ask my angels to particularly look at his particular issue, whatever my sister's particular issue is. For the sheep, it's like it started off with their feet, but now I'm just like, whatever they need, what's best. And at the end of this all, can you disconnect from them, please? And Archangel Michael, would you anchor the healing into this current reality? And I might fall asleep halfway through it. I usually wake up and, and in the morning I'll say, oh gosh, did I disconnect? And it's casual. And one of the things that I love about especially angelic Reiki is I think that's okay. I don't think I need to go, I need to take this really seriously. Let me get down and clear my head, get down on my hands and knees. I'm just going, you guys are there. I know what to do. Let me be the conduit. Come on in. And now I just say to the sheep, look, I don't know how many of you need healing, but like, come on in. Let's just see what happens. And I muscle test it. I muscle tested last night. I said, am I diluting the healing I'm giving by bringing so many people in? And I got no. And more and more I'm being pushed to do what feels right for me. It feels right for me to be able to vaguely connect to the crow, but actually I'm not really getting anything because I'm not focused. Now I do understand that I am not getting the connection when I'm trying to communicate, but I don't think that's lack of reverence, that's lack of concentration on my part.
Management, yeah.
But I don't feel like I need to be also ever so pleased and polite with animals. I feel like it's okay for me to go, hi.
Yeah.
And either give me something or don't.
Well, or ask, hey, is it okay if we talk? Just like you would do to a, before you Zoom someone, hey, is it okay if we hop on Zoom a second? Because you just don't want to pop up in some, not that that's what happens in Zoom anyway. But it's like, it's honoring okay, so here I'm going to say this. So the piece of the pie that you bring is the ability to do all of that Reiki on all of those animals. Like, what a wonderful piece of pie you bring to the table. And that I honor your ability to be able to do that, because your piece of pie is like, that's not my piece of pie. That's amazing.
But my point is, because I don't necessarily get the prayers completely right, am I shortcutting it? You see, because one of my workarounds is, if I don't make this really, really hard and complicated, then it's not worth anything. Right. Whereas I'm actively trying to go, well, it's worth whatever I can give it. If I felt that, Rio, for example, really needs my healing at the moment, Maria really needs my healing. If I felt that that was diluting the healing that I was giving them because I'm being a bit casual in my head about it and going, come on, sheep, come on in. But I feel if my intent is to help Maria in the real world, Julie, what exactly am I doing other than asking my angels to heal Maria? I am not adding anything more than my belief that my angels can heal Maria. Does it matter if I fall asleep halfway through the healing? Does it matter if I wander off and forget to ask Archangel Michael to anchor the healing? Because surely my intent is there, because my intent is I want Maria to get some healing. And if I can be a conduit to that, so be it.
Yeah. So your piece of the pie how do I want to say this? So you bring that to the party, that you have the ability to do it, and this is the way you do it. And that's amazing. And other people, like the Cacao Ceremony we were just talking about, they do it that way, and that's amazing. That doesn't necessarily feel good. Like, that's not maybe a piece of pie I may sample it and then go, oh, you know what? I think I'd rather do this one over, which is fine. But what all I'm saying is everybody has the ability to do it in our own way and the ability to do it differently. is what is so amazing about the human experience, that is, I think, probably one of the biggest parts of the illusion that our community is all working to overcome. Focus on your piece of the pie.
Yeah, but what if my piece of the pie,
all pie is
what
good.
if I'm not honoring my piece of the pie because I'm not doing it right?
No, you are. That's the thing. That's the now the illusion's kicking in. This is just like okay, so
yeah, but who am I to say I can just dip in and out of Reiki angels, I can just gather them together, I can just call all the sheep in the field? And I suppose what I need to actually spend some time doing it. The sheep are restless. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of noise. Yvonne's sheep are making a lot of noise. Robin's sheep are making a lot of noise. The cat's acting all odd. We've seen another cat lying around. The chickens are bullying. Everyone's a bit ooh. And I've sort of tried to connect into the sheep to find out what's going on, but I just don't trust any. I don't even try long enough to not trust it, because my conscious brain is saying, Robin said he was taking the lambs away this week. Maybe it's that. I saw one of the lambs, and it was standing up on where the quarry is, and it was probably trying to find out how to go down, and it was calling. So I was like, well, obviously he's can't see a path. It's like I can't. I don't trust. I don't get anything. I probably don't.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I probably don't even try for long enough, but I just don't trust anything because there's so much conscious stuff happening around.
Yeah, that's probably it. I had a reading, an animal reading yesterday, and the animal was saying that something was a springboard for the next chapter, which that made sense to her. But it's just everything is, how do I want to say this? It just the springboard thing just came into my mind. It's just there's like a springboard to believing, like you're working towards absolute believing and letting go.
That's what I want.
And that's okay.
Because I would love to say that Madame Cacao came to me, and actually when I drank my cocoa this morning, I waved my hands around a bit and I went, well, I would really like to benefit from any wisdom you can give me. And then I drank my cocoa. Like, I didn't make a big thing about it, because I just I think my role, if I can do anything in this world, is to take the ritual and the reverence out of it. I want everybody to know they can just close their eyes and go, oh fuck, help please. Or because there's so much hierarchy in this world. And I love the fact that if I'm a little spark of the divine, and we're all little sparks of the divine, then we all have equal power. We all have the ability to do anything. And I want everybody to be able to go to Madame Cacao, whether they hear her back or not, to say, bring it on. And to be able to swear. Like, I just don't believe swearing's evil. I understand it. Some people find it blasphemy. Do you know, it's like it's like the intent behind the words. I do understand the culturally, or that if I say cunt and it upsets other people, that it's not nice for me to do that. But my argument is, well, why does it upset you? It's just a word. But likewise, I get upset by certain words. That's not one of them, but that's only because I have a lot of fun with that word, and a lot of jokes in my past used to revolve around that, because it was absolutely the worst word that you could ever say, and that's got to be funny. So that's another conversation for us, actually, about swearing.
But I would say that, and I would say, you want all that for other people, so you have to have it first for yourself. Okay? So if you don't want to have to feel like you have to have all the ceremony, then you have to let go of have to feeling like you have to have all the ceremony. And when you begin to have it for yourself, and just then it comes, and then
I do. I just do it. But then I suppose my paranoia comes in, because I'm maybe not. I suppose they're two different things, because actually when I try and connect to the animals, I don't think it's anything to do with my approach. It's to do with the fact that I am not giving it the focus that it requires. It's nothing to do with my language. It's nothing to do with it's just, I sort of worry, am I am I selling Rio short, for example, or Maria short because she really needs my healing, and I'm diddling around with all the sheep in the field and healing them all at the same time, you know, that I am somehow not doing my best for the people who in my opinion most deserve my healing. Is that's the sort of underlying worry. But on the other hand, I think, well, why would my healing angels have any restrictions on what they can and can't do?
Right. Well, even just the fact that is my healing helping, that's an attachment to the outcome. So therefore it starts to work against it anyway. I mean, all I do, like in Maria's case, I don't know Reiki, I don't know body code, I don't know the things in your pie that you bring to the table. I don't know those things. All I know is that for a moment, I think of her, I hold space for her, I send her love, I send her healing, and that intent in and of itself, I believe helps. I don't know how, I have no proof. I don't think that she will actually go, oh, look, there's Julie's energy coming in. Like, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I know that I just believe that when we hold space for one another, the world becomes a better place. And that's it. Maybe it's just as simple as that. I don't know. I just said that and I never thought about that.
So when you connect to animals, do you do it all very formally and very seriously and all of that?
You know what, I have chided myself that it's like I'll be running up until the last minute and then it's like, oh my God, I've got to quickly breathe, got to do all this. And it's just like, okay, wait a second here. So no, I actually don't have a ceremony or anything. I have a list of intentions, and for the time period just before the reading, a minute, whatever, 1 minute possibly, I read through the intentions, take some deep breaths, and then call the human. But in the moment, and here's the thing that gets me, which is why I think like the ceremony, for me, a ceremony, I don't need, because I have it. I have the ability, right? I know I do. And I doubt it every single time I started reading, because I thought, oh, great, here's the time that's, they're not going to believe me or whatever. So, but what happens when the minute I call the human being and I explain what's going to happen, I always feel like I have to just kind of take a step after that and just go, okay, now I have to breathe again in order to start the reading. But the human starts coming in before I even finish the first deep breath, because I'll give the explanation and then I'll say, okay, I'm just going to go quiet for a couple of minutes just to breathe a little bit. But before I even have that sentence out, I start to receive. And I don't know, I just do, and I just start. I don't know, I just kind of plunge in.
No, that's sort of what happens to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've watched Danielle. I mean, we watch Danielle every month do stuff similar in office hours, but I have had the opportunity to see her live and to do she'll have a whole room of people, a big, huge room of people. And she zones in on a human, and that's the one, and it starts happening. And I'm just like, okay, I know that we're all equal. And if she does it, if she can do it, we can do it. And that's what she's teaching us too, which is what I find so, when I watched her with the lab yesterday, she was just holding space for the gentleman to do it his way. And then every time he started to doubt, she's like, you got it, you got it, you got it. And who knows? I mean, who knows what she was getting? She doesn't share that, which I found interesting too, because she wanted him to see his own piece of the pie.
I'm going to watch it. Thank you, Julie. Stimulating and lost the word. Interesting. There's got to be another word for interesting.
Engaging.
Stimulating.
Engaging.
Interesting and engaging. Right, I'll try again. Well, thank you, Julie. That was most interesting and engaging. One word, and where does it take us? So I think there'll be more of this. I'm going to go and observe the lab that you talk about, and think a little bit more actually about reverence, because I feel like I need to pad out a bit more as well about what do I actually mean by it? What does it trigger for me? Why does it fill me with, it's not fear, but I think mistrust, I suppose.
Resistance, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a bit of resistance. So thank you as always, Miss Julie, and we'll see. Thank you everybody for listening, and as always, if you have any comments, requests, suggestions, please put them in the comments below, and please do subscribe to our channel. We're getting regular updates now, so if you want to be first in with the Gen, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to us on Facebook. Thank you again, and we'll speak to you all soon.